Okay, this is my first commentary with not me playing. It's a game between SK Insomnia and Ranger PG. The game is actually loading now. It's actually about to finish now, so I'm just going to pause at the start of the game at 6 seconds to give you time to sync up. This game was actually from the MFO tournament, the Red Cross tournament, the Valentine's Day one, which Ranger PG actually won versus SK Insomnia in the finals. This is the fourth game of 5, and it has lots of interesting things happening in it. So I'm just going to unpause it at 6 seconds, starting now. So, Scorched Basin, Undead versus Human, not close spots, so should be an interesting game. I'm just going to turn Fog of War off so we can see the entire map. And basically the initial builds aren't going to be that exciting, it's going to be standard stuff. So I guess we can talk a little bit about this map. This map, as you know, is incredibly tough to creep. This is why a lot of top players tend to choose this when they're a Night Elf player versus another race. So this map is a very big advantage for a Night Elf player when playing, say, a human player, because a human player has a very tough time creeping. And also the same applies in this map with an Undead player versus a human player, because as you will see, Ranger has a very nice strategy planned which will allow him to creep the map very quickly, and you'll see he gets a huge lead in hero levels over SK Insomnia because of his strategy. Now I'm sure this will be unfamiliar to a lot of you. Actually, when I saw this game, I wasn't unfamiliar with Ranger's actual strategy early on, but I was actually unfamiliar with something that happened a little bit later on, which I will tell you about. So, Ranger PG is going for a Dreadlord first. This is for Carrion Swarm, and the human player SK Insomnia is going for a Mountain King first. He's getting a Mountain King obviously because he knows Ranger PG is an Undead player, and he will be using the Mountain King's Thunderclap ability to counter the Undead. So SK Insomnia is scouting the map with 2 footmen, one on each side. And I'd just like to point out that Ranger PG actually chose this map in the tournament. So here we go, Dreadlord, 5 ghouls out scouting. I'm going to concentrate mostly on Ranger PG's game rather than SK Insomnia's, because it's Ranger's game that's more interesting. I'll quickly point out that SK Insomnia is doing a quick expansion strategy here. As you can see, the 4 militia going. So Ranger PG is creeping the nearest creeps to him. He's doing focus firing on the archers first, which causes the ghouls more problems than the actual melee fighters. And he's focus firing from creep to creep as usual. This is standard stuff, but I know a lot of you always screw this up. Definitely something you should want to do all the time. It's focus fire from creep to creep at the very beginning of the game when you have little units involved. And it's just turned night time, so we'll just watch Ranger here. He's sending his Dreadlord to the centre. He's actually sending it towards the shop, where he will buy a Wand of Negation. This strategy will not work in the War 3 expansion because Wand of Negations have been removed from the game, but it's definitely working in this game. So Wand of Negation deals 200 damage to summoned units, and you'll now see his strategy. So this Wand of Negation is going to allow him to creep the very hard Witch Doctor creeps, which are impossible to creep this early on in the game without that Wand of Negation. The Spirit Pigs. So he's got 4 Spirit Pigs there. Cast a Wand of Negation right over the Spirit Pigs, and all 4 Spirit Pigs die or are unsummoned. And it also unsummons the healing ward that the Witch Doctor lays down. You also get a ton of experience from that. So if we just quickly compare levels, you see that the Dreadlord is very nearly level 3, and if you look at SK Insomnia, who's cleared 2 sets of creeps with the aid of Militia, he is only just above level 2, so quite a big advantage already. And Ranger PG is now starting his second hero, which is a lick, so he's going for all direct damage. SK Insomnia's expansion is up and running. They've both cleared exactly 2 sets of creeps, but unfortunately SK Insomnia has had to go for the smaller creeps because Ranger PG is utilising that wand of negation to take on the big creeps. Also, these big creeps give a lot more experience and also drop better items, so it's a big advantage this. As you can see, again 3 spirit pigs disappear because of that wand of negation. Unfortunately, never quite got the 4th one. Now as you can see, SK Insomnia is unfortunately still having to stick to those shitty creeps. So Ranger halfway to level 4, SK Insomnia only halfway to level 3. So that's a ridiculous advantage this early on in the game. And now you're going to see another good strategy. This is the one I was unaware of from Ranger PG. He's actually going to take on those big creeps at the shop with only 2 heroes. So he's focus firing on the Thunder Lizard with his Dreadlord, and he's letting the Lick attack their units. Now I'm going to tell you how this works out. The Thunder Lizards actually have splash damage. So this is very easy for 2 heroes to take on, because the Thunder Lizards are basically killing themselves. And if you notice, the actual lightning attack that they have that causes splash damage also hurts the air units. So with 2 heroes, and that's all he had there, and he took very little damage there, he's got a great item. They can actually drop potions of restoration, Anks, healing wards, and in this case Ranger has actually got a stone token, which is another great item. And again, he's going to the second shop with only 2 heroes. And you can actually see, if you just quickly click the Thunder Lizard, you can see them taking damage from the splash damage of the Thunder Lizard attack. And this is allowing the 2 heroes to take them out very easily. And he's got a Book of the Dead. So not the greatest items, he could have had 2 potions of restorations or 2 Anks or healing wards, etc. But still, if you just look at it from experience alone, level 4, level 2 hero compared to a level 3 Mountain King and a level 1 Paladin. Now, doesn't take much IQ in your head to figure out that that is a huge advantage. And as you can see, Ranger is already at Citadel. He already has, well, he doesn't have the frenzy upgrade, he's researching at this moment.